Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic.
Hello and welcome to your Aquarius full moon Great Mother Speaks reading. This full moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista. It is a very happy-go-lucky energy, people that are born in it, and actually it's the fewest people of record who are born in this nakshatra than of any other. It is equidistance between Capricorn and Aquarius in the Jyotish astrology, which is what we use here on Great Mother Speaks. She calls it the soul astrology. This is the astrology that really does pace this life with the soul most accurately because it is cosmological. We do use Western astrology in terms of understanding our egoic relationship to the soul. So our emotional state is really important in terms of looking at our Western astrology. Here we deal with mama drama trauma, which is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed issues of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. And so in order to heal mama drama trauma, we have to tap into our intuitive wisdom, which is the fundamental basis of lunar astrology when it is activated as a tool to be used for healing, which is why we use the Jyotish astrology and your Jyotish moon sign, which you can find in the calculator below. Of course, use whichever moon sign most resonates with you at this time. Detachment is all about an energy of sociability, and following up the new moon reading in Cancer, you may want to check on what your new moon wishes were. I have found with individuals who come for readings how incredible using the follow-up full moon reading within the context of what Great Mother was saying during the new moon gives a very enlightened perspective on how to work with the lunar energies, because with the personal readings, we actually look at your unique cosmic calculus, your moon sign. So even if your moon sign is Aquarius, not all of you have this full moon as your full moon at this particular time. Some of you will have it at other times during the year based on the degree of the moon in which you were born. For example, you may be born at 5 degrees Aquarius, and that's more new moon energy. Full moon energy is 15, 16 degrees, etc., etc. So I want to encourage you to be more familiar with your degrees of your moon sign, because the Lunar New Year for you and the midpoint of your year is going to vary quite a bit with these general readings, as well as configurations, aspects, and planetary placements in your birth chart. So for that, go to greatmotherspeaks.info for a personal reading. I want to let you know that because it is going to also change the nakshatra of your moon sign. And so this, generally speaking, at this time, the moon is in the nakshatra of Dhanista, but you may be in another nakshatra in which you were born. There are an average of 2.5 nakshatras per sign. So there's a toss-up there energetically, but we'll do our best here. This energy overall, generally for all of us speaking here, is a full moon energy of lightheartedness. It's a lightheartedness that is very communicative. It's very socially oriented, highly creative. It's honest. Aquarian energy is very honest, very direct, can be emotionally detached, which in many cases for mama drama trauma is a good thing, because our yellow brick road is a healing road of loving detachment from the drama, the trauma, and in some cases, the mama, if that is necessary. And so this kind of mental acuity comes from a sense of a capability to maneuver one's mental space that's made available through the alchemy of Aquarian energy. in this constellation. It is very learned, particularly through its social proclivities, through friends. It really loves to interact with people and create associations with individuals in order to gain its knowledge, in order to really enjoy life. That's an important part of gaining wisdom. And the knowledge is so important in order to be able to decode macro patterns, the macro patterns of life. They're very good architects. They're very good engineers, and they can look at the whole and break it down into detail. And this all seems to come about over a drink after work. They tend to learn quite well in study groups in school. Even their romantic life is centered around social engagement. And so if you're dating someone like this, or you are like this yourself, it may be difficult for you to understand the attachment that people have romantically in relationships that dictates a very singular one-on-one relationship, when in fact love for you is an augmented experience with others. So it's very intuitive at the same time with regard to the unique genius of others, and it likes to tap into that as well as the genius within oneself. So we're talking about the transition from Capricorn energy, which is all about that inner silence and diligent focus and manifesting, to this equidistance to Aquarian energy that's about outer service. And so bringing that inner wisdom, that inner genius, that macro vision into the world through the detailed analysis and connecting with others to manifest that outer service. And so coming through the eclipses and coming through all that we have been experiencing this year with the retrogrades, we now have Jupiter direct as of the 11th of this month. Yes! And so that is a very central theme of this full moon reading. Jupiter is direct again in the sign of Scorpio in the Vedic. So we're going to look at that in each sign as we look at the illumination that this Aquarius full moon in Detachment has for you. Hello, Libra moon sign people. This is internal wisdom. And internally, Mama Drama Trauma is a soul contract for us to evolve in self-love and spiritual independence. It is through the experience of maternal abandonment and abuse we are coerced to love ourselves in order to experience it. And in order to truly experience love, we are then connected to our soul in ways that make our life meaningful. And that is the spiritual independence, having our own relationship with the great Mother, Father, God. Knowing that we are dearly loved children who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. And that's what we see here in the center card, which is the Aquarius full moon card. So Great Mother's coming through very powerfully for you with this message of divinity, because it is through embracing divinity that we release MDT identity of shame, blame, and guilt. That is the healing process of MDT. Great Mother's coming through for you with this root chakra, this regrounding energy ruled by Saturn, which rules Aquarius, saying that your soul wants to do this work, or she is acknowledging this internal wisdom within you that you have been doing self-mothering work. And she wants to let you know that by letting go of the mother you want in order to accept the one that you have has brought you to this place of acknowledgement. What's bringing up this wisdom, or this message for some of you that it's time to self-mother, is the acknowledgement card to acknowledge the abandonment and abuse of the mother. Some of you may still be in denial about this. This is the A of the A suit of the 6 suit Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. That spells aspire. because we aspire to live in loving detachment from the fantasy mother we want, the mother that loves us unconditionally. She's unconditionally understanding and nurturing. That is not the mother we have. We have a mother who, too, has MDT. And this cycle has been perpetuated and visited upon us for the express internal soul purpose of evolving in self-love and spiritual independence. So there's a need for some of you to acknowledge this internal wisdom. Those of you who have, there's a recognition that you have. Balsamic moon energy is download energy. For Libra moon sign people, your moon yogas are Virgo. That is how you download information, like a Virgo, intuitively. You feel as a Libra feels, and the perpetual battle to balance how you feel with those of others and being able to distinguish that, dealing with codependency, etc. But you process information like a Scorpio. So with root chakra, Aquarius full moon energy, dealing with self-mothering, going to the soul issue of acknowledging the soul contract of MDT, which is a root chakra card as well. We can see in the upper left-hand corner. This regrounding that you've been doing, you may not realize, because in your shadow position is Ra, the primordial father card. It is waxing gibbous third eye moon energy. You're being rewarded. The father of the Egyptian pantheon is rewarding your self-mothering efforts. For those of you who have not been fully committed to self-mothering yourself, and some of you may not be consciously committed, but you are taking more time for yourself. You have been giving yourself the time and the space that you need to heal those MDT triggers and to acknowledge what they are in your life, to define, establish, and maintain healthy boundaries so you can experience your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. You may not have consciously made those choices, but you have walked in that direction. You've been guided by that internal wisdom, so to speak. You've followed it. And Great Mother wants you to know that there's reward in that, in your shadow position. You sense this reward because you have been experiencing some of you, a greater sharpening of your mind. This Aquarius full moon is fifth house energy for you. So it's a very kind of creative period that is being illuminated right now. And so maybe a mind sharpening with regard to some of these aspects of boundary establishment, your own creativity with regard to your health, happiness, and wholeness as you are taking more time and space, some of you. And you're beginning to be noticed by others as a result of you doing this. And being noticed by some as a sense of encouraging them to do the same, and by others, resentment. That's inevitable as we take time and space to establish our boundaries with MDT, because we are no longer fulfilling the toxic role of perpetuating the shame, blame, and guilt of MDT that we did before. We're beginning to heal, and that's discomforting for some, including ourselves. It can create a great deal of sadness and a sense of world weariness. The old folks used to say, kind of weary of the world. And Great Mother doesn't want you to be discouraged with this Ra card in your shadow position. You don't know that you're being rewarded for your efforts and your intentions. Speaking of intention, in your desire position is self-inquiry. So there is an intention for more self-love if you have self-inquiry here. Another balsamic moon card, the S in Aspire. The second suit is the second chakra suit, and the second chakra is ruled by Jupiter, which is in your second house. And so you may be, having, again, this kind of experience of other people noticing you positively. And so this may be resulting in some job opportunities in the material. It may be resulting in new relationships. It may be resulting in just more money in your life. Your new beliefs of your divinity identity as opposed to MDT is beginning to produce material results in your life for some of you. And again, this could be accompanied by some jealousy and some difficulties at this time. And so this can be kind of a quandary as you are transitioning from MDT identity to divinity identity. So self-inquiry, Earth Father energy, is an energy that says that as you are dealing with this, it's important that when you feel any sense of judgment, any sense of pain, of condemnation, a pain thought, as they say in psychology. You want to stop yourself in that moment. Someone is jealous. Someone is frustrated because you're no longer playing the game of MDT. Take a moment, excuse yourself, give yourself a permission slip to be excused from the drama for a moment or longer, I encourage. And just ask yourself, is it true? Is it true that I have to play this role in order to prove that I love my mother, my sister? Is it true that I have to behave in this particular way in order to fulfill my life purpose? I've been fulfilling my life purpose. I've had a job that I've loved for years, and now I'm feeling like I still want to share what my gifts and my talents are, but not in this context. I'm realizing that this context is toxic too. And so even though I may be being offered a promotion, maybe I should look at this as an opportunity to transition into something that is much more amenable to what my energies are now. This kind of self-inquiry. I always recommend the work of Byron Katie if you want to go deeper with this, BYRONKATIE. You can find her here on YouTube and do what she calls the work around this. Another way to work with self-inquiry is just to simply develop a sense of self-curiosity as opposed to self-judgment. So many times we'll jump right back into that MDT tendency to self-judge. Oh, I'm being a terrible daughter. I'm being a terrible mother. I'm being a terrible son. As opposed to that, looking specifically at the situation. In order for me to transition into this new job, there are some things that I had to focus on, give myself the time and the space to do. Self-mother. Full moon Aquarius, coming to full illumination. You're probably already doing some of this stuff. And I got this extra money, and so I can really pursue the job that I want, because if I have to take off and go to an interview or something like that, I can do it. I can start saving money if I actually have to start pursuing a job full time. And somebody wants to borrow money. And in the past, I've always given money even when I didn't have it. And I'm being guilted as a result. Take a moment, breathe. Am I a bad son because I'm not giving this money? Or am I being good to myself? Am I mothering myself because I am in the process of living my divinity? I'm in the process of taking my expression of my gifts, my talents, my abilities to the next level. And I need my resources in order to do that for myself in a self-loving way. So that's what you want to do. And what's supporting you and your support position is the Sphinx. You're ready to face that challenge. You're so desirous of doing this shift from MDT mentality to divinity mentality that you're ready to face whatever challenges come up as a result with this throat chakra first quarter moon card. The throat chakra is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury, of course, rules Gemini and Virgo, which is how you download intuitive information. So you've downloaded that there is some support available to you to pursue your highest sense of self-love and spiritual independence. As far as your present state of ego-soul alignment, as a result, these rewards that are available to you, if you haven't already received, the increase in pay or or the positive attention and things like that, is Newt, the new moon root chakra card. Now, again, this root chakra energy harkens to Aquarius, but Saturn rules the root chakra, and Saturn also rules Capricorn. So you want to look at, perhaps for you, there may be some areas with regard to fourth house energy, which is Capricorn for you, and feeling like you're an orphan as a result. And so the blessings are coming, but you are still feeling that void. That's your present state of ego soul alignment, is that you are feeling that void. You are acknowledging that sense of abandonment and abuse. And you do want to realize in the acknowledgement that it's not about you. It's about a cycle of toxicity in a bloodline whose purpose is to evolve us in self-love and spiritual independence. And we return to that kind of bloodline experience until we do. And so everyone has their own time clock. Yours just happens to be now. Your mother's will be in another lifetime, and perhaps her mother will be in another lifetime, because obviously she didn't heal hers if your mother is still unhealed, unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own. So the orphan card harkens to a state of ego soul alignment where you are realizing that, and you are realizing that, Houston, we have a problem here, and it's not me. But it's not in a vainglorious way that you're saying that, or egotistical way that you were asserting that, but it's with new moon energy. The seed has been planted of awareness about the reality of how your maternal experience has been grounded in this lifetime. And you are grappling with that. You are owning that. That's your present state of ego soul alignment. You are aligned with your MDT soul contract, in other words, with that Saturnal energy in your fourth house. Why your soul wants to do this particular work of awareness at this time, this particular internal gauge of negotiation and clarity about the void and the blessings that come for embracing the mother that you have, both as a birth mother and great mother, to love you and to support you, is integrity. The balsamic card. This is your third major arcana card. It's the eye in a spire, and it's heart chakra energy, the crossroads between the ego and the soul. This is the scene in Dorothy's pointing at Professor Marvel, who's also Oz, and she's saying, "You were there too. You were in my dream," to which she receives a laughable response by all in the room. This is integrity. This is acknowledging, Houston, we have a problem here, and everyone in the control center at the space center is laughing. We don't have a problem at all. Everything's fine, and your integrity being such that, okay, I get it. Again, I see what's going on, just like you saw what's going on in terms of your present state of ego soul alignment, that, Houston, there's a problem here. The next step is staying with that integrity as you continue to call things out as you see them with love. That's heart chakra energy. That's living in loving detachment. That is the grieving process of letting go of the mother we want to accept the one we have. We start calling the one we have out with love. I need every extra dime that I have because I'm in the process of living my best life. And I've, in the past, always given you whatever you've asked for in hopes that you would live your best life. And so right now I'm doing that for myself. Truthful lovingness. And laughable is a way you can experience, laughing is a way that you can experience a response or anger or whatever. But the bottom line is embracing the eternal grace and mercy of your divinity. And so how your soul wants to do this is
by taking responsibility. You're so ready to do that. You're so ready. This message is so on point for you with this Aquarius full moon card, energy of Isis. You are so ready in your gut. You know, you're ready to follow that yellow brick road. This Mauve energy of owning your life choice to heal this, to break this cycle in your own heart, in your own soul, in your own gut. The South Node, K2, is in your third house. Now, although the third house isn't directly associated with the gut chakra necessarily, it does have to do with processing. It does have to do with processing emotions, just as the gut processes our food. And for you at this particular time, there may be a lot of deep reflection about all of this. And really kind of, some of you might be, sad, that things are coming this way. Some frustrated, some a little fatalistic, it just depends on kind of where you are, because you do have Mercury and Venus in your 10th house right now of life purpose, of your dharma. And even though your social status you might feel is improving, some of you, your procurement of social pleasure at this time is such a priority because you're feeling kind of this void as a result of, you're self-mothering as a result of the void that you're feeling. Some of you who may be not self-mothering in the most healthy ways, maybe addictions and that sort of thing, that's might be what's bringing up the imbalance with the fatalistic kind of thing, because Rahu is in your 9th house. And again, this is a general reading. Everybody has different aspects. And my Lord, planetary conjunctions with your moon completely shifts things. So you want to get a personal reading for clarification. But all of you do have Rahu in your 9th lunar house. So there is a pull toward a higher sense of all of this, a higher concept of self-mothering, a deeper sense of facing the challenge as opposed to superficial quick fixes, so to speak. And so this is how your soul wants to deal with this. It wants to deeply go into the internal work or taking responsibility, as we see in this card, the Munchkins singing Dorothy on to follow the yellow brick road, that gut chakra, do that internal work is what we're saying here. Great Mother says that if you do this full moon season, your likely outcome is the Adi Shakti waning gibbous second chakra moon card, the primordial mother energy. You'll emerge from this full moon with a greater sense, and with this Jupiter stationing direct, a greater sense of what's in all of this work for you. Yes, there's a self-mothering aspect, but that has to do a lot with emotional survival in the beginning. But as it becomes a practice, it starts to not just benefit us, but benefit all of those around us in ways that drown out the noise of jealousy, of discomfort with your transition and all of that. It eventually gets drowned out because love grows. And when you have second chakra energy and Jupiter in your second house, this is all about not just how you earn your money, the material money, but how you earn this internal wealth that will fill this void of the recognition and the acknowledgement of the maternal abandonment and abuse. That's a heavy blow for anyone to have to integrate. And although you are courageously facing it, doing the deeper work that this full moon is asking, that Great Mother is asking at this particular time, will result in a deeper relationship with the primordial mother. And we do have some energies coming up again with this Jupiter moving direct with the galactic center in Sagittarius. And so the twister dream is just realizing that when you have done all you can do to open yourself up to that wider sense of spiritual independence, that wider ability to connect with Great Mother, Father, God in a way that makes sense for you, to receive the guidance that you need to make your journey worthwhile for you. That's what Great Mother is speaking generally to Libra moon signs about healing mama drama trauma this Aquarius full moon. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all, and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome.